I demand you to have the same passion and urgency to pass the City of Chicago reparations ordinance, and also give us an office for Black Americans, just like the new Americans. We didn't have the luxury or the opportunity to cross the border. We didn't have the privilege to cross the border. We came over here stolen, beaten, chained in the bottom of ships. And you give migrants $51 million? Have you forgot who you are? Or let's go to Michael Jackson when he say, look in the mirror. I urge you to get conscious, to realize who you are. Our ancestors are looking at us.
People should be treated with care and compassion so they can live their lives with dignity and respect. However, when recently arrived families are sleeping on the floors of police stations with nowhere to go, we know that Chicago is not living up to its values.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. We got to talk about the city of Chicago approving $51 million of aid to illegal immigrants seeking asylum. If it wasn't an indication before how a mayor like Brandon Johnson was going to, the positions he was going to take on an issue like this, if you didn't see the writing on the wall before he got into office, then, that's on you. Because let's be honest, a lot of Black people voted for Brandon Johnson simply because he Black. And I think that is one of the things that I think that's what holds the Black community back the most, to be honest, is expecting our reparations. To be honest, I feel like it's like a carrot dangled on a stick that we just continue to run after. And we see somebody who is our same skin color running for a particular office, and we think, hey, if we vote for somebody to look like us, they're gonna have our best interests in mind, when that's not always the case. And that just leads to the Black community being able to be taken advantage of. If somebody could dangle a carrot with a stick in front of your face and you keep on chasing after it, and it keeps on working, then they're gonna keep on doing it. But to the people who are siding with the migrants, saying that we need to, we need to be looking out for these people. Call me mean, call me what you want. The rule, at least I thought the rules were that, there's a legal way to seek asylum. You aren't just supposed to be jumping over the border. But clearly, the issue at the southern border has gotten so bad that, Greg Abbott down in Texas, he busing migrants all throughout, the nation, and Chicago being one of those places. I think a lot of people didn't take this serious because they saw it happening at the southern border. Now that the smoke, so to speak, or the migrants have showed up to our front door, now you got a lot of people upset about it, and rightfully so. Simply put, in my opinion, there's a right way and a wrong way to come into this country. I know you might be, fleeing from whatever it is you're fleeing from. I can empathize with that, but I know people who have, who've came to this country seeking asylum legally, and it's a long and, it's a lengthy, difficult process. And, I know people close to me who've done that, and, to see people who've actually done it the right way, done it the hard way, who aren't getting these handouts, I just, it's tough for me. It's tough for me to, I feel for you fleeing what you fleeing, but it's the right way and the wrong way to do things. And I don't think, I just don't think it's right. Had we taken the border situation more seriously in the first place, put more resources into protecting the border and keeping people out, we wouldn't have these problems that we have now. Now, like I said, the smoke, the migrants have shown up to our door. Now the city of Chicago scrambling for money, trying to figure out, how we going to help them, pay for them, feed them, all of these things. On a national level, we should be trying to protect our border and keep the border safe, keep the border secure. It don't make no sense why do you just want people hopping over your front fence? Hopping over the fence to your property. I really don't get it. And it's shaming tactics used from liberals and progressives towards people who want to keep a safe and secure border, claiming that they're racist and xenophobic and this phobic, all because we want to keep our border safe. That's a load of nonsense, but I've spoken enough. We're about to get into this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe while we watching. Now let's roll it.
Deep emotional wounds coming to the surface.
As Black people who have been hurt continuously by the city and country it loves, it ain't our responsibility to take care of everybody else.
And anger.
We don't want to have to recall anybody. We don't want to have to protest anybody, but we are not going to be ignored, Brandon, Mayor Johnson.
Many in Chicago's Black community and the city council speaking out against spending $51 million to house migrants, asking when will the help for them finally become a reality.
And it cannot be put on the backs of the residents of Chicago without showing them that they're getting something out of this.
Mayor Brandon Johnson, presiding over his second full city council meeting, had to ask for calm more than once.
With the Sergeant of Arms, please restore some order.
Police also intervening at one point to allow the meeting to proceed. Ultimately, the measure passed with 34 votes. Many who voted to approve the money, like 49th Ward Alderwoman Maria Haddon, call this an immediate crisis that needs attention. But, she says, so do concerns of the city's Black residents.
Why are Black people in Chicago and some communities so angry? Why is all this kind of anti-immigrant sentiment coming up? And I want to explain to folks, it's because if we cared as much about Black people and had over the decades as we do about everyone else, we wouldn't be here.
But the money from a 2021 budget surplus will only last 1 month. Many alderpeople say it's time for a long-term plan and some state and federal help. With that, should taxpayers be concerned?
I think we should all be concerned anytime we're having to utilize this level of resources on a temporary situation, especially with not a real sight of federal support coming.
Hours after the meeting, Mayor Brandon Johnson offered no specifics.
We're going to have to dig in a little bit deeper in the city of Chicago, but that's going to be a collaborative approach.
Where's the $51 million going that's going to last us only to the end of next month? And what happens July 1st when we're broke again?
Frustration boiled over during a fiery city council meeting as residents and aldermen disagreed on how taxpayer dollars should be used when it comes to migrants.
Ultimately, $51 million in funding was approved to help care for asylum seekers in our city.
Casey Cronus has the story now from City Hall.
Passed in a 34-13 vote. That money will go toward housing, food, and other resources for new arrivals. But the decision did not come without contentious debate.
The bottom line is, we're a sanctuary city. We've been bragging about it forever. We did nothing to prepare for it.
Since last August, more than 8,000 migrants have been dropped off in Chicago from the Texas border, with shelters and respite sites overrun.
Families have been living on the floor in police stations. This is unacceptable.
But those opposed to a massive budget amendment are questioning how the city can suddenly come up with so much money for new visitors when local communities remain neglected and homeless individuals are sleeping on the streets.
How dare this mayor and city council have the guts to give migrants $51 million.
During the city council meeting, the public weighed in.
We have not gotten anything for our community, and we are sick and tired of being sick and tired. Enough is enough. And I voted for you, Brandon.
With tensions running high, arguments and interruptions were frequent.
I would ask that you would do it with some level of decorum. I believe that we can have public discourse without demonstrating the worst part of our debates.
That $51 million covers the remainder of a projected $102 million that it will cost the city to care for migrants through the end of June, with the rest coming from the state and federal governments. But it's unclear what will happen when this money runs out. Reporting from City Hall, Casey Cronus, Fox 32, Chicago.
All right, guys, so there you have it. A lot to digest right there. Another huge expense. And the worst thing about this is only a temporary fix. We pulling the money out of thin air to help these people. And what happens when more people come? Like, there is a clear and obvious cause and effect. The cause and effect is not taking the situation at the border seriously in the first place. Had we taken that situation serious, had we taken the border serious in the first place, we wouldn't have this migrant issue. You know, had people like Lori Lightfoot and all these other progressive mayors and, you know, council members and whatever, had they not been judging, you know, and overly critical of, you know, people like Donald Trump and other Republicans who want to have a secure border, then we wouldn't have this issue. But because having a secure border became this racist thing, this is why we have this issue. And like I said, if we don't handle the problem at the root, because the obvious problem is the border itself, where these people are initially getting into our country from, if we don't handle that, then we're going to have to find more money and more money and more money to house, shelter, and feed more migrants and more migrants. This thing can just keep going on forever. The border problem has been a problem not just since August, like they said in this video. It's been a problem for years. It's been a problem for years. It's way too many people getting into this country illegally. I don't care what you I don't care what you want to call me, racist, this phobic, that phobic. It's a problem. And you know, from what we can see, from the passion we can see these city council meetings, it's people that are mad for different reasons. You know, a lot of black people mad for a specific reason. You know, there are white residents mad for a specific reason. Ultimately, though, I think everyone should be upset about this, like rightfully so. You know, now to the people who are mad and surprised because Brandon Johnson is you know, in support of this, I mean, you voted for, if you voted for him, then, you know, this is a position you should have expected him to take. You know what I'm saying? If you vote for somebody like this and then you're surprised because they taken the super progressive approach, then that's on you. You know, you voted for this. But yeah, guys, to wrap this up, 51 million, that's a lot of dough. If you didn't know, I actually do live in the Chicago area, suburban Chicago area. So this is happening, you know, near where I reside. And it ain't going to stop at 51 million. Like I said, if we as a nation, if we can't agree that having an influx of migrants crossing the southern border illegally is a problem, if we can't agree on that, then we can expect to continue to see this happening not only in Chicago, but it's going to be happening. It's going to be happening in a city coming to you soon. It's going to be happening in a city near you soon if we don't get a grip on this. The border needs to be secure. It's nothing racist about having a secure border. There's nothing racist about that. I'm pretty sure we let in more migrants every year than any other nation. Fact check me on that. But I'm pretty sure we letting in more people than anybody else. It got to stop. It needs to stop. But that's it for the video, you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe on your way out the door. Let me know what you thought about this in the comments down below. Hit that notification bell. And until next time, you guys, I'm out of here. Peace.